creditreport.com. All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
One thing music can do for us is when it kind of surprises us at moments, it can keep the music more interesting. Now the surprise isn't conscious. It's not like we're thinking about, I expect a D flat to be the next note. Instead it would be, it's happening very in the back of the brain. And that's one argument of when music appreciation, as people develop expertise in music, they start to appreciate having these expectations and having them surprised. So there is that element of what kind of makes music more interesting. I think for me what's fascinating is the earworm idea is why don't people get sick of it? Enough times I hear it, why does it keep surprising me? And I think one theory for why earworms work is if you imagine some song having kind of a flow, again with expectations, it's going to end on a certain note. And in cases where that ending kind of leads you to expect the start of the song again, then that's where you may get this kind of recurring loop in your head. Because you're left at a point where the next thing you kind of expect or want to hear is the start of the song again. And then, if you're going through the cycle, it's difficult to break that potentially. Historically, music was used a little more in ads previously, but I think we still see it a lot. And definitely ad agencies, they're going to have a conscious effort to find songs people like. I mean, that's the idea of a focus group, right? You pick a song, you bring people in, you ask them to listen to it. What's interesting about the earworm idea, it would suggest that a focus group may need to be more of a longitudinal type thing. That one snapshot may not get the whole effect. You can imagine two songs equally liked, yet one may stick in your ear more and stay around more, the other not. And a one-time focus group is not going to pick up that difference. Right? You need to kind of come back to people later, as I do much of my satiation research, to see, well, how long is the effect lingering? And those are the kind of tunes as marketers I want to have that lingering effect. So I think it could suggest there's maybe better practices we could do there to more often use these longitudinal groups to come back, especially with music. I mean, with a print ad, I think it's less likely the ad is still in your head and you're imagining it throughout the day. But music seems to have this kind of special ability to stick around. Think of some of the famous commercials people have had that people don't know what brand it was for. So one famous example is the What's Up with the beer commercials. A lot of people don't know who that was. It was actually Bud who had done that. And so getting someone to sing a jingle over in their head, well, it's not really helping you if it's not keeping them focused on your brand, keeping your brand top of mind, or communicating some message you want about your product. And so I think the ideal would be a jingle that stays in people's heads. So it's almost like getting free commercials throughout the day. But as well, what you want is you want to make sure that it's keeping your brand prominent, so you're the one benefiting from that jingle. And ideally, it would also link to some message you want to get across of my product does X. One of the ideas there would be when I get to a store, I'm looking at this shelf with tons of options, I'm deciding which brand I want, that we do have evidence knowing that the brand that comes to the top of the mind very quickly has an advantage of being picked more often. And so I think one argument would be that jingle is keeping that brand around your brain throughout the day, and it's keeping that brand top of mind. So when you're thinking of what brand might I want, what brand of beer do I want? Well, Bud Light may come to mind. What pizza may I want? Well, maybe a Pizza Hut jingle's been in my head all day. That would be the argument, kind of how that connects the dots. That, it is a good thing for marketers to be the top of mind, to be the first brand that comes to people's mind in the category, and I think jingles definitely help accomplish that.